What up, everybody, and happy game day. It's PJ here, and I'm joined by the one and only Excabandai.
What's up?
Well, that game against the Panthers, man, that was, not the best, but let's talk about that one. Talk about the game against Minnesota tonight, and hopefully I'll win this game of Madden. So let's go.
Let's go.
Alright, we have drawn the Houston Texans. So, not a normal opponent you'll see on the channel, but
The Strouds are going to destroy you.
if they don't destroy me, they'll destroy the moon.
Again.
For anybody that absolutely has no idea what reference we're talking about, go watch some Tom Grossi.
Specifically, the If the NFL Was Scripted episodes.
Yeah. Alright, let me get this set up real quick. Hopefully I'll have a solid performance in this one. Stroud's been good this year. Like, I'm interested to see how he is on Madden because I haven't even looked at the Texans really. Or we'll do run plays. So anyways, now that this one's kind of underway, let's start talking about that Packers-Panthers game, and what a weird, unsatisfying 33-30 victory.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, it started off weird anyways, with Jair Alexander kind of going out for the coin toss when he wasn't the captain, and almost costing the team possession, and then luckily, they got the ref clarifying things, but yeah, I mean, starting off kind of with the offense, big thing I was looking at when we were going over last week's video was how was the offensive line going to do, especially Josh Myers, because they had to go up against Derek Brown, who's been an absolute beast, and there was Aaron Jones coming back with a full workload like he had played the week before, but limited, and then you had AJ Dillon who was playing, so it was kind of like a how's the run game going to do? Can the offensive line help out? My expectation was Aaron Jones would get about 70 yards rushing. And going into it, like Brown was, still the beast that he is. I think he ended up with like 9 total tackles on the day. And they also had Frankie Louvu, their linebacker, that got like another 10 tackles and forced a fumble and stuff. But even with all that, they still, or the offense still got, pretty successful day going. You had Aaron Jones get our first 100-yard rushing game of the year with 21 carries, 127 yards. Team as a whole finished with 162 on, that was a good stop in the backfield, on 34 attempts, 2 touchdowns. So, especially considering how we've done this year on the ground, I will take that all day, every day for the Packers.
Fair.
But, loving the passing attack. When I went into the preview last week, I was like, Carolina doesn't really give up a whole lot of big catches. That's kind of been, even though they're not a great team this year, they don't give up big plays a lot on defense. So I figured Green Bay would have to kind of work the ball down the field a little bit, kind of what they've been doing, spread the love, to all the receivers. But I thought you would see kind of a typical Jordan Love stat game. 2 to 3 passing touchdowns, 250 to 300 yards passing, and for the most part, pretty solid there too. He was at 17 to 28, 219 yards, so a little bit under what I projected, but 2 touchdowns, and that was despite missing Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, and then Wicks going down with the injury, so you had to have Bo Melton, which shout out to him. He stepped up with 4 catches, 44 yards to help out Dobbs and Tucker Kraft. So overall, I was pretty happy with Jordan Love. His throws looked pretty good for the most part. Um, I saw him recognizing some pressure early, and then a couple times just going straight to the hot route. So he did well there. I wish they would have been a little bit better in the fourth quarter at one point because they had the 2 3 and outs there, which Carolina started to rally and getting touchdowns while we were getting 3-and-outs. But when the game was on the line and Carolina had all the momentum, they were able to go downfield and get a field goal. So overall, can't complain too much with the offense. I was pretty happy. What were your thoughts on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, due to holiday travels, I didn't get to watch the game live, but I did watch JT O'Sullivan's QB school video on Love specifically. And I mean, it felt like the offense, had a decent game. I mean, Carolina's defense isn't the worst. They're not great, but they're not as bad as us.
Yeah.
And the offense got 33 points. If you score 33 points, you expect your team to be able to get a win. Um, Love seemed to be fairly accurate on the day. A couple drops, a couple errant throws. Kind of the normal. He still has his falling to his left footwork thing that hopefully will be an off-season emphasis. But
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, the offense seemed to do fine. Aaron Jones had 127 yards. Passing game was surprisingly good, given so many of our best wide receivers missed the game entirely or got hurt in the process.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
very pleased with the offense as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. And then, you know, as good as the offense was, man, that defensively, it's been a painful struggle. When I was going over the stats last week, because Carolina wasn't a team I was overly familiar with this year. Like, they're not really winning a whole lot of games that are on TV or anything too much down here, but they were bottom 5 in passing yardage, bottom 5 in yards per game, had about 270 yards per game. Top 5 most sacks allowed. They hadn't scored a touchdown since December 3rd. So, as always, the cure to all of that, just play the Packers defense. Because even with the defense being a little bit more aggressive than what they had been, kind of the same results for the most part. Bryce Young going up. His stat line was 23 of 36, 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 turnovers. Not only his first career 300-yard passing game, it is the first time he had thrown for even 200 yards since October 29th. And the 2 touchdown passes were his first ones since November 19th against the Cowboys. So that's already yikes, as expected. But then Thielen, he did his thing, 6 catches, 94 yards, as I tried to hit over the middle. Good play. But, he had 6 for 94, like I said, but then you had guys like DJ Chark. He only had 26 catches for 363 yards on the season. He's going off for 6 catches, 98 yards, and 2 touchdowns in this game. Tommy Tremble, he had 4 catches for 59 yards. His previous career high was back in 2021 where he only had 35 yards. So, I mean, it's like you expect the defense to just kind of give up career days or, stuff that hasn't happened in forever.
They
And
give up
that's,
career days to nobodies.
yeah, like that's, you know, Tommy DeVito, who's now benched. Baker Mayfield, who is a good quarterback, but he shouldn't be getting a perfect passer rating against you at your home place. And
Yeah.
now, Bryce Young, who wasn't even close to sniffing a 300-yard performance, now all of a sudden he's over 300. So, you can kind of hear me complaining already, but what do you think about the defense right now?
Fire Joe Barry. As I said, I didn't get to watch the game because I was traveling, but I didn't need to watch the game to know, looking at the stats and the storyline, that the defense is in shambles. The experiment is over, and I understand that they're keeping Joe Barry for semantics. They don't want it to look like they just fire somebody because the fans want him fired. But the defense isn't going to be any better. The
No.
they surprisingly do decent against good teams, which is weird.
Yeah.
But if you start a nobody or a rookie quarterback, they're gonna have a decent game, unless they're just really terrible,
Yeah, pretty
like the
much.
Rams game.
Yeah, that was one of those where it's bad when you get cut from the league pretty much right after that type of performance. But yeah, I mean, just being able to watch it live, when I came into the video last week, I said I didn't think the Packers defense would look good, but I thought they would do at least better than the previous 2 weeks because when you have the bar already set, like, kind of through the floor, how much lower can you really be? And somehow they still disappointed even with that. You know, I thought maybe they'll get a turnover or two because you get a rookie, and maybe you'll get a couple sacks because again, top five, unit and giving up sacks. And I mean, they did get the 2 sacks with Preston Smith getting like a sack and a half, and Aaron Jones. And I think he shared a half a sack with like Quay Walker or somebody. But instead, instead of getting a whole lot of pressure on Bryce Young and everything, you're just getting the same kind of crap where it's like, the 4th down and 1 where they're going for a quarterback sneak and we're lining up with nobody in the A gap. Wow, I can't believe I scored on that.
Neat.
Yeah, but then um, it was especially annoying with the defense in the final 12 minutes since Bryce Young basically had like half of his 300 plus yards of passing in those final 12 minutes and both touchdown passes. So you're thinking it's 30-16. We should be on easy street against the worst team in the league. And all of a sudden it's a 30-30 game and they have all the momentum and it's like, what the absolute hell? And honestly, like, even after the field goal, like, the fact that the Panthers were able to get into a spot where they would have been able to kick a field goal to try to send it to overtime, except they got the snap off to do the spike a half second too late. It's like, how are we still doing this like each week? Like, there's no improvement showing up lately, and it's absolutely frustrating. But
I mean, I think the defense has quit on him,
yeah, I mean,
and because like they were playing okay for a while, not necessarily against the best offenses, but they were playing okay, and then uh, like it just stopped like overnight. It went from being statistically bad, like based off of DVOA and stuff like that,
yeah,
to like it looks like they're not even trying anymore. Like
yeah.
they just physically show up.
Try to get a stop here right before
Like
halftime.
they're supposed to be the veteran unit of the
Yeah,
team,
yeah.
and the offense with all of its rookies, the youngest offense in the league by age, and that was a weird sack.
Yeah, it was. Shout out to
Um,
the coverage for that sack on that one.
they're the youngest offense in the league, as I know we've said numerous times in your videos, and it's pretty well echoed across pretty much any other sports commentator that talks about the Packers team. The offense was supposed to be in the find out stage while the defense carried them. And essentially, since week 2, it's been the offense has to score or you lose.
Yeah,
And the only reason it wasn't the case in the first week is because the Bears' offense was just that poor.
yeah. I miss those weeks, like the very first week.
Agreed.
But yeah, so you're getting off the Panthers game now, and up next is Minnesota, which I'm not looking forward to this one honestly. It's the second matchup of the season with Minnesota, and they just lost 30-24. Looked pretty competitive against the Lions team. But they are, 4 of their last 5 games have ended in losses, and all 5 games have been one-score games. So it's going to be, another low-scoring affair. And in this case, it's going to be basically a kind of an elimination game for the postseason. But going into it, Minnesota's opening up. They opened up as 2-point favorites. The last time I just looked at the line, they were closer to like 1-point favorites most places. Injury report, stupid long for both teams. There is something like 28 players listed on between the two teams. So for Green Bay, you have Christian Watson and Devondre Campbell that are both, doubtful. And you got guys that are designated to return from IR, like Musgrave, Emmanuel Wilson, and Luke Tenuta, I think it is. Yes, Tenuta. But, they're all going to be out again. You got Savage, who is questionable with a shoulder injury. TJ Slayton, who's questionable with his injury. Robert Rochelle, Wicks, who got knocked out of the game last week. So you also have Jair Alexander, who kind of mentioned from the coin toss thing. He got suspended for that by the team. So he's not going to be there. And then suddenly, middle of the day on Saturday, we hear Eric Stokes is not only going to be out with a hamstring injury, but now he's going to IR and they're bringing up Benny Sapp. So there's a lot of bad, but at least we get Jaden Reed back, I guess. So that's nice.
Yeah.
But the Vikings had 4 players ruled out. The most notable is going to be their cornerback Byron Murphy. He's going to miss a second consecutive game with a knee injury, and of those 4 players, that's not including guys like T.J. Hawkinson, who just got put on IR and he's done for the year. So they also lost DJ Wanham, who he went on IR due to a quad injury and stuff. But we'll see about guys like Jordan Adenson and stuff like that. And I think they're going to get Brian O'Neill back, their right tackle.
Mhm.
So before I say the rest of this list, let me see if I can beat him over the middle here.
Yep. Nope, you didn't throw it. Just
Yeah,
scramble.
I kind of wanted to, but Love's accuracy is a little bit shaky still on Madden, so I was like,
If you
But
just planted your foot and threw with a capital A for anticipation, you would have had him.
would have, but here we are. But yeah, so kind of keep going with the game. Congrats to Jaron Hall. He's going to be the next quarterback to have a career game against the Packers.
Probably.
They just benched Mullins this week after a 4-interception game against the Lions. Not really seen too much of Hall this year. He's only had 22 snaps total in the regular season, so I think the last time we saw him was back in college and stuff for the most part. But he did play a little bit after Cousins' injury against us, so that's about the majority of the snaps, along with like the very beginning of the next week's games. Let's go.
Wow, that ended up being a touchdown.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I was like, oh, that's a good 7-yard gain. Oh, got a first down and touchdown.
Yeah, I'll take that all day. But yeah, I mean, so we're talking about Hall and him being, he's a pretty mobile quarterback from what I remember in college. So that'll cause some issues more than likely with Green Bay, and that's going to be added to the list of issues of trying to figure out how the hell we're going to stop Justin Jefferson this week. Um, so, any thoughts on this kind of upcoming game?
Oh, this is gonna be unfun to watch, most likely. Hopefully the offense just keeps doing what they're doing and progresses. Even with the injuries, they've at least been serviceable.
Yeah,
I saw um, a stat earlier that said in the last 4 weeks, they've been the second most efficient offense in the entire NFL. The defense was ranked 32nd in defensive efficiency. Uh,
yeah,
but you know,
that's painful.
the offense is clicking even with all the youth. So hopefully they can continue that again. And play a little better than they did in the first meeting with the Vikings offensively. Defensively, it's a crapshoot. If Hall plays well or even mediocre, the game will probably be close. If he has a great game, I don't like our chances. And he might have a great game because Joe Barry is allergic to like anyone that's got less than like 3 years of service time in the league.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like I might be able to go out and have a 300-yard passing game tomorrow.
Hell, you've seen me throwing out in the field lately, and I still might have a 300-yard passing game. Nah, honestly, like it's absolutely frustrating. But let's go. Got the fourth down stop.
If he threw it to the other guy, it was a huge gain.
Hey, we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the actual stuff. But yeah, I mean, going into this one with the Packers, I'm feeling kind of nervous. Part of that's, I think, just the fact that, in the very first meeting, Green Bay only put up 10 points despite having some good opportunities. So that's still kind of stuck there in my mind because that was our lowest scoring output of the season so far. But, the Vikings defense still has been pretty good this year. They're big on blitzing and just kind of being unpredictable. The DVOAs that you had mentioned a little while ago, that has them now updated in the top 5 so far this year. So, good squad with Brian Flores and them. But the big thing there is, like, even though they're big on blitzing and everything, they don't really... Oh, please give me that linebacker on Reed over here. Let's go. But yeah, despite being big on blitzing, they don't really get to the quarterback too often. So I think Love's still going to have some time to cook this week. Danielle Hunter is going to be kind of their main player that the Packers are going to have to watch. And also, too, something that gives a little bit more confidence is, like, since that first game, which was in the middle of that long losing stretch, Love's kind of started cooking and looking pretty good. So hopefully he'll kind of continue his growth this season.
Yeah, he started playing better literally the week after the last Vikings game.
Yeah, so I mean,
like there's definitely been growth by Love, by the offense. There's positives, even if we don't end up making the playoffs. There's definitely positives from the offensive standpoint.
oh yeah, definitely.
And even with the Vikings defense being ranked well, also, side note to their ranking, they were abysmal last season.
Yeah, 25th in DVOAs.
Most of their players returned. There wasn't a huge turnover on the defense, except they added Brian Flores to the defensive staff. And now they're one of the 5 most efficient defenses in the entire league.
Wow.
I didn't see that one coming.
Nope, not even a little bit. That was a good play.
So, it's not always about overhauling your roster. Sometimes you just need a coach that actually knows how to coach defense. Anyway, so I have confidence in the offense, even though the Vikings defense has played well. It's just I don't know that they can overcome their own defense. Because if the Packers don't have a great game against how many games has Hall played?
This is his, I think, 3rd game technically, his 2nd career start. The first start he had was a game he got knocked out of, though, with a concussion.
Yeah, and Dobbs had to come in, right?
Yeah, that was where the Pastronaut memes started.
Yeah. So, if he has a great game against the defense, I don't know that our offense can overcome their defense to win us the game. It's just I have no faith in the defense. That's really an understatement.
Yeah, like when I joke about or when I like kind of write up some notes and stuff that I do for these videos, my note on the defense is I'm not too worried about the defense this week, mainly because I'm expecting a disaster at this point. Let's go. That's clutch. Whew. Let's see if I can run down the clock and seal this dub. But yeah, I mean, you wanted to know what's like really ridiculous for how bad this passing defense especially has gotten this year. We've talked so many times this season about how bad our run defense is. Like, we have the 4 games that they've given up 200 plus yards allowed on the ground, stuff like that. A few others that were like 125, 150 plus. And yet they are what's carrying our unit right now in the DVOA rankings. But yeah, it's like That was a face mask. Give me that first down. I just realized I haven't put in AJ Dillon yet. Let me get some Quadzilla love in my life. Pause. But, yeah, I mean, the offense, I kind of said stat-wise, I'm kind of expecting almost the same choo-choo, same predictions I gave Jordan Love last week. Another 250-yard passing game, maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns. Um, Jones had about 70 to 80 yards on the ground, and ultimately at the end of it, I said, with my gut, I feel like the Minnesota is going to win this game, and it's mainly going to be because the defense just can't stop, Jefferson. And then even if they do contain him a bit, you still got to deal with like Addison if he plays, and all them. So I can see the only way I really see them escaping is if like they get pressure to Hall and he just ends up turning over the ball. But Green Bay hasn't really been getting too many turnovers lately, anyways. So it's kind of hard for me to keep predicting that they're going to get 1 turnover or 2 turnovers and then come up blank almost every week, outside of like the Chiefs game. But ultimately, I don't want to listen to my gut, so I'm going to go with my heart and say Packers win 24-23 on this one to make it fun for us, because we will be going to the Bears game the following week, and I want to see us still have a shot at the playoffs.
I agree.
I ain't gonna lie, every time I look at the weather forecast for next week, I'm just like, yes, keep getting colder. And that makes everybody that, like, give me that.
Nice. Game.
Dagger. From the man who is suspended for this week.
Yep.
Oh, man. But yeah, it's gonna be a crazy game tonight. So we'll see what happens. But I'm nervous.
I'm always nervous when we play a division rival because you don't want to lose to the division rivals. Like,
Yeah.
that's extra bragging rights on top of the win. So, I just hope that the defense isn't historically bad.
Yeah, it's at this point, I'm just asking for 2 drives where they don't give up touchdowns, and we'll go from there.
I can only give you 1 drive
Shoot, I
and
just chose
a
wrong
ham
play.
sandwich.
Well then, what a great audible.
I'm not sure what he was trying to do, but it worked in your favor.
I will take that all day, every day. Yeah, even looking at the replay, it looks like he was trying to go for a quick pass when he didn't really have it set up yet.
I think he went for a quick pass before he actually read whether your safety was dropping or not. And
Yeah.
he just threw it right where he was. Well, if the last touchdown wasn't a dagger, this one is.
4
Scored
scores, and that
2
lead is
touchdowns
safe.
in 8 seconds.
All I need now is a special teams like force fumble and return it, or another pick 6. Either way, that'd be nice.
The Packers defense on Madden is way nastier than the Packers defense in real life.
Yeah, especially recently, because at the start of the year, like they gave up some long drives, but they didn't really give up a whole lot of points. Now seeing Carolina get 30 on us just makes me cry a little on the inside.
Well, they only play one of the worst offenses in the league and had one of their worst weeks of the season. What do you expect?
I thought I had another one. Yeah. Since we're near the end of the video anyways, any New Year's resolution since it's that time of year?
Fire Joe Barry.
I like it.
As part owner of the Green Bay Packers, I demand that he be fired.
I have no idea why. I just realized I never really checked the Lions and Cowboys game tonight. Let me see what the score was. Oh wow, they scored some points since the last time I had looked at it near halftime. It ended up Dallas won 20-19.
Is it over? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's over. Oh, the Lions got penalized on a 2-point conversion to take the lead at the end.
damn. All I know is it helped me out in fantasy football because I had St. Brown and Laporta in my lineup and Dak at quarterback, and somehow they were all at like 8 or 9 points. The last time I looked, and they were all finishing like 22, 22, 15.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the championship game in our fantasy football league for everybody that's not aware. And I do not want to lose to Joe. Shout out to Joe in this video. I'm coming for your league record on titles, though.
No, you leave my record alone.
No. For everybody else, we've been in the league together for 12 years. And Zach's won 5 of the titles. Good play by him. But I've won 3 of the titles out of those 12 years. And I'm in the title game again this year. And trying to take the belt back from Zach over there.
No, you leave it alone.
No. I don't know why the hell I just, whatever. I knew what play it was, and I accidentally chose run up the middle as my guest play, and I was like, I can't switch it now. Oh well. Alright. It's a big enough lead. Should I just run out the clock or forwards?
Do forwards. What's
Absolutely.
the worst that can happen? Pick six?
Yeah, at that point, it's like, who cares?
Even if he got a 2-point conversion, he'd still be down by 9.
Oh, there's the pick. Oh well. Damn, same guy got me twice. Oh well. Figure make it a little bit more fun at the end instead of just kneeing it out, which I complain about all the time on here.
You complain about people not kneeling it out? Or you complain about them kneeling it out?
Complain about them kneeling it out. Random hit out of bounds.
He should kick a field goal just to spite you.
You know what? I would respect that. Just because how funny that would be.
Lame.
Are you sure you want to do this? Nobody cares about underneath. I'm running back here with Nixon. Can I get the outside? No.
Too slow.
Yep. Hey, you know what though? That's a good way to end the game. Exchange some interceptions there. So, but I'm just happy to get a win on this video.
Fair.
But yeah. So, anyways, obviously it's the end of the 2023. So, I'm sure Zach says this too, but we hope everybody has a safe and happy New Year. Like we said earlier, we're going to be traveling up to the Packers-Bears game next week, so I think we're going to try to do a video prior to it if time allows.
Your
If
channel.
we can. What?
It's your channel.
Yeah. So if we can get the time, we'll do a video. If not, then we'll do kind of a recap video from our trip up there, and then In the meantime, just to make sure that there is a video going up next week, we actually have a rocket racing gameplay video from Fortnite that Excabandai over there is going to be involved with too. So stay tuned for that. And for one last time in 2023, go Pack Go. See you next year.